Welcome back to the deep dive. I have to be honest with you right off the bat. I'm incredibly excited and maybe just a little bit skeptical about the stack of research we have on the table today.
Just a little bit.
Okay, maybe a lot skeptical. It touches on something that I think every single person listening has struggled with at some point. It's that universal frustration of trying to learn a new skill, specifically a new language, and hitting that absolute brick wall. You know the wall I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely. It's the wall where, all your good intentions meet the harsh reality of, reality.
Yes.
You buy the textbooks, you download the apps with the cute little green owls, you promise yourself, this is it, I'm going to study for an hour every single night, and then life happens.
Life happens. Fatigue happens.
And frankly, boredom happens. A lot of boredom.
Exactly. It's the hours of study, the rote memorization of verb tables, the feeling that you're just not getting it fast enough. We've all been there wishing there was some kind of shortcut. And usually when someone offers you a shortcut in learning, especially language learning, it turns out to be absolute snake oil. It's just nonsense.
Learn fluent French in 24 hours.
Yeah, right. Speak Spanish like a native by tomorrow morning.
It's marketing, not science, usually.
Usually. But today might be different. The materials we are diving into are asking a very provocative question. What if the time you spend sleeping isn't just off time?
What if it's not wasted time?
Right. What if you could improve your English, or any language really, though our sources do focus on English, without actually being awake?
It sounds like the tagline for a science fiction movie, doesn't it? Learn while you dream.
It really does. I'm picturing a helmet with wires coming out of it.
But what we're looking at today is grounded in some pretty solid neuroscience.
Yeah.
We're combining two really interesting and distinct areas of research. We have material on the subconscious path to fluent English, which looks at brainwave states and passive learning.
Okay.
And we're pairing that with a source called The Puppet Master Within, Reclaiming Cognitive Control.
Which is a bit of an ominous title, I have to say. The Puppet Master Within. It sounds unsettling.
It is a little unsettling, but it's crucial to the conversation, because you can't really appreciate the solution until you understand the problem.
How so?
Well, one source tells us how we might be able to learn while we sleep, and the other explains in fascinating detail why it's so incredibly hard to learn while we're awake.
That is the perfect way to frame it. Okay, so our mission today is to figure out if we can essentially hack the brain's operating system. We want to see if we can bypass the stress and the frustration of conscious study and turn sleep into what one of our sources calls brain maintenance time.
I love that phrase. It's not downtime, it's maintenance time.
But I have to ask, before we really get into the weeds here, is this too good to be true? I mean, can I really just put on some headphones, go to sleep, and wake up reciting Shakespeare?
Okay, let's manage the expectations right now.
Please.
No. You will not wake up reciting Shakespeare perfectly if you've never studied English before. It's not magic. It's not downloading a file into your brain like in The Matrix.
So no I know Kung Fu moment.
No, I know Kung Fu moment, unfortunately. But, and this is a big but, it is a scientifically valid way to prime the brain. It's about removing the friction that exists when we try to learn while we're awake.
Okay, I like that distinction. Removing friction. Not magic, but making the real work easier.
Exactly.
So let's start with the environment where this all supposedly happens. Let's talk about sleep. Because I think most of us operate under the assumption that when we close our eyes at night, the factory just shuts down, the lights go off, the workers go home, and absolutely nothing happens until the alarm goes off.
That is the most common misconception about the brain. We tend to view sleep as this passive void, a waste of 8 hours for some people.
Right, a necessary evil.
But neurologically, that couldn't be further from the truth. The brain doesn't shut off. It shifts gears. It goes into a different mode of processing.
So it's not powering down.
Not at all. Think of it less like turning off a computer and more like running a deep system update or defragmentation process in the background. It's cleaning up, filing away memories, and getting ready for the next day.
Okay, so the hardware is still running, maybe even running hard, but the software is doing something totally different. It's cleaning up the files from the day.
That's a perfect analogy. And this is where we need to talk about brainwaves. This is the absolute core of the subconscious path research.
Okay.
When you are awake, right now, as we're talking and you're listening to this, you are in a high frequency state. We call this the beta state. You're alert, you're processing data, you're reacting to my voice, you're thinking about your coffee. It's your active, problem-solving mind.
The day shift, we could call it.
The day shift, exactly. But as you relax and start to drift off to sleep, your brain waves slow down. You don't just snap from awake to asleep. It's not a light switch. You descend through different stages.
It's a slope, not a cliff.
A very gradual slope. You pass through alpha, which is a state of relaxed wakefulness, and then you enter what we call the theta state.
Theta waves. I've heard of this in the context of deep meditation, I think.
Yes, exactly. It's found in deep meditation and in that twilight zone right before you fall fully asleep. It's that moment where you might have a vivid image flash in your mind, or your body jerks suddenly.
The hypnic jerk. I hate that.
Right, or you just feel kind of floaty and disconnected. That is the theta state. It operates a frequency of about 4 to 8 hertz. And for our purposes today, this state is the magic zone.
Okay, so why is that zone so special for learning? What's happening in theta that isn't happening right now while we're having this very beta wave conversation?
The key insight from our source material is this concept of the filter.
The filter.
When you and I are talking right now, or when you're listening to this, your conscious mind is active. And the conscious mind is a brilliant tool, don't get me wrong. It helps us navigate traffic and solve math problems and, not walk into walls.
A very useful tool.
But it is also a gatekeeper, a bouncer at the club of your mind. It judges, it doubts, it analyzes everything that comes in.
Oh, I know that gatekeeper very well. That's the voice in my head that says, you pronounced that wrong, or that grammar rule doesn't make any sense, or my personal favorite, I'll never remember all of this.
Precisely. That is the filter. It's a defense mechanism in a way. It's designed to protect you by questioning new information, especially information that causes stress or conflicts with what you already believe. If I try to teach you a complex grammar rule right now, your beta brain attacks it. It dissects it. It worries about it.
It tries to find the logic, and if it can't, it gets frustrated and kind of rejects it.
Yes. But here is the breakthrough. In the theta state, that filter weakens. It almost disappears entirely.
So the security guard goes on a coffee break.
The security guard is not just on a coffee break, he's gone home for the night. The conscious guard dog goes to sleep, but the subconscious door is left wide open.
And the resistance is gone.
The resistance is gone. The subconscious becomes incredibly receptive. Information can, for lack of a better term, just slip in without the waking mind fighting it every step of the way.
That is a wild concept. It's like sneaking knowledge in through the back door of the building while the security guard is asleep at the front desk.
Yeah.
But, I mean, does the information actually stick? Does it do anything?
It does, but in a very specific way. And this brings us to the concept of passive learning priming. The source material makes a distinction here that is really, really important.
Okay.
We aren't talking about memorization in the traditional flashcard sense of the word. We are talking about priming.
Unpack that for us.
Yeah.
What is the difference between me trying to memorize a vocabulary list and my brain being primed?
Okay, so memorization is an active, conscious process. It's brute force. It's saying the cat is on the table over and over. You repeat it, you test yourself, you quiz yourself. That requires conscious effort from your beta brain.
Right, it feels like work.
It is work. Priming, on the other hand, is about creating familiarity. It's about creating a sense of déjà vu for your brain. When you play audio during this theta state, you aren't trying to force your brain to index a dictionary definition of a word.
So you're not trying to learn what a word means.
Not directly. You are trying to get the brain to recognize the patterns, the rhythm, and the melody of the language. You're teaching it the music before you teach it the lyrics.
So the goal isn't necessarily to wake up and be able to define a word like idiosyncrasy. The goal is to wake up, hear that word later in a conversation, and have your brain go, hey, I know that sound. That feels safe. That feels familiar.
Exactly. Your brain starts to say, I've heard this before. And that feeling of familiarity is the foundation of fluency. Fluency isn't just knowing a lot of words, it's feeling comfortable and at ease with them. It's about reducing the cognitive load of processing a foreign language.
And that comfort can be built while you sleep.
That's the theory. You're laying the emotional and neurological groundwork.
That's incredible. It fundamentally shifts the goalpost from, I need to know this, to I need to be familiar with this. It takes so much of the pressure off.
It does.
But this raises a huge question for me. If the subconscious is this powerful receptive sponge that can just soak up information without resistance while we're asleep, why is it so ridiculously hard to do this when we are awake? Why is sitting down and trying to study for 30 minutes such an epic battle of wills?
This is where we have to pivot to our second source, the puppet master within. Because to understand the solution, which is sleep learning, we have to really deeply understand the obstacle. And the obstacle is, ironically, your own brain.
Or at least a specific part of it.
A very specific, very powerful part of it.
This is the two systems concept, right? I found this part of the research absolutely fascinating.
It's a cornerstone of modern psychology. The source describes two distinct systems, two characters almost, operating inside your mind. You have the fast brain and the slow brain. And they are, more often than not, at war with each other.
Okay, let's break these down. Who are these two characters living in our heads? Let's start with the fast brain.
The fast brain is the ancient part. It's your limbic system, your survival brain. It's reactive, it's impulsive, it's emotional. It's the part that jumps when you see a snake, or even just a stick that looks like a snake.
Okay.
Its only job is to keep you alive and to conserve energy. It's all about the immediate. It wants food, safety, and pleasure. Now, not later.
So that's the caveman brain, the toddler brain.
An excellent way to put it. And the slow brain is the modern part, your prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of your mind, the planner, the long-term thinker.
So the slow brain is the one that wants to learn English, get a promotion, save for retirement, maybe write a novel someday.
Yes. The slow brain is the one that buys the textbook and makes the color-coded study schedule. I will study every night at 8 p.m. for 1 hour.
I have made that exact schedule.
We all have. But the fast brain is the one that actually controls your behavior most of the time. And here's the conflict. The fast brain gets bored instantly. It despises effort without immediate reward. Studying grammar. To the fast brain, that's maximum effort for zero immediate pleasure.
Yeah.
It hates that.
It's like trying to make a toddler sit still and do their taxes.
Exactly. The toddler wants candy, and it wants it now. And this is where we get into the dopamine loop, which was a real eye-opener in the text for me.
Me too.
Mhm.
We usually think of dopamine as the happiness chemical, right? You get it like on your social media post, you get a shot of dopamine, you feel good.
Yeah, that's the common and somewhat incorrect understanding. Dopamine equals pleasure.
But the source corrects that. It says dopamine is not happiness.
No, dopamine is anticipation. It is the chemical of maybe.
Wait, say that again? Maybe.
Think about it. Why do you scroll on your phone? It's not usually because you are actively happy. In fact, you're usually bored or anxious or procrastinating. You scroll because your fast brain is whispering, maybe the next video will be the funny one. Maybe the next email is good news. Maybe the next headline is the interesting one.
Oh.
It's the seeking circuit. It's the motivation to explore. It's not the reward itself. It's the promise of a potential reward.
Oh, it's huge. It's the hunt. It's the searching. It's the slot machine effect.
Yeah.
You pull the lever for the chance of winning.
Exactly. It's the search function of the brain. And our modern world has been engineered to hijack that function. Your phone is a slot machine you carry in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And the fast brain is addicted to that search. It constantly runs a program you didn't plan. You sit down with the best of intentions to study English. That's your slow brain's plan. But your fast brain screams, this is boring. There's no maybe here. Let's check the phone. There are 1,000 maybes there.
And because the fast brain is, well, fast,
Right.
it almost always wins.
It wins because it's older, more powerful, and it creates a near inescapable loop of distraction. This constant search for the next little dopamine hit makes deep focus on something like grammar or vocabulary incredibly, profoundly difficult during the day.
You're not just fighting distraction, you're fighting your own fundamental biology.
You're swimming upstream against a billion-year-old current of neurochemistry that wants you to do anything but sit still and study.
That explains so much. It explains why I can lose 2 hours scrolling on my phone without even realizing it. But 20 minutes of focused study can feel like an eternity. My fast brain is just hijacking the ship.
Hijacking is the perfect word. The source literally calls it the puppet master within. Most of the time, we aren't in control. It is.
So if we accept this premise, that waking learning is a constant battle against this internal puppet master.
Then sleep learning becomes the solution because it bypasses the fight entirely.
Right, because the puppet master is asleep. The fast brain is offline.
The fast brain is offline, the dopamine loops are paused, the toddler is finally napping. And this leads us to the third section of our deep dive, the solution. Specifically, how bypassing this struggle fundamentally changes the way our brain absorbs and forms memories.
The source material mentions something about stress and memory that I found really, really validating. It said, and I'm paraphrasing, that the brain does not learn best through struggle, which, goes against everything my high school teachers ever told me.
It goes against the entire no pain, no gain culture, doesn't it? We have this almost puritanical idea that if it doesn't hurt, if it's not a struggle, then it doesn't count as real work.
Yeah, push through the pain.
But neurologically, it's often the exact opposite. Stress, and I'm talking about the psychological stress of frustration, of trying focus when your fast brain wants to scroll, that stress creates a chemical barrier in your brain.
What do you mean a chemical barrier?
When you're stressed, your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline, and high levels of those stress hormones can actually inhibit the function of the hippocampus, which is the part of your brain that is critical for forming new long-term memories.
So wait, when we are sitting there, gritting our teeth, forcing ourselves to memorize a word table, and getting angry and frustrated that we can't focus, we are chemically making it harder to learn.
Precisely. We are actively engaging the braking system of the brain while trying to hit the accelerator. It's profoundly inefficient.
That is mind-blowing.
The work smarter, not harder philosophy here is that the goal isn't to brute force the grammar into your head. The goal is to find a state where the brain isn't stressed, isn't threatened, and is open to new information.
And that state, the ultimate low-stress state, is sleep.
It's relaxation and eventually sleep. The source uses a beautiful analogy here, and it's one we should really spend a moment on. Think about how a child learns their first language.
Okay, they're definitely not studying flashcards at 2 years old. They aren't sitting at a desk worrying about the subjunctive mood.
No, they don't memorize rules. They don't have any concept of what a past participle is. They just listen. They are bathed in the language for thousands of hours.
It's pure immersion. They hear, "I want milk," enough times that their brain just figures out that want comes after I. They don't analyze it. They never ask why.
Right. They absorb the structure passively. They learn the melody of the language before they learn the individual notes. And sleep learning is an attempt to mimic that childlike state of effortless absorption.
So by bypassing the analytical, stressed, fast brain, adult mind, you're allowing yourself to learn like a child again. You aren't analyzing, you were just absorbing.
That's the idea. You're letting the pattern seep in without judgment.
So the formula the source gives us then is repetition plus relaxation.
That's the golden formula. Repetition plus relaxation. When you combine those two, memory formation is enhanced. The distraction loops of the fast brain are gone, the stress hormones are gone, and the brain can just do what it was brilliantly designed to do, find patterns in the chaos.
Okay, this is all making a ton of sense. The theory is solid. We have the why and the what. No, I want to get really practical. I want to get into the how.
The mechanics of it.
Yes, because I'm sure there were people listening right now thinking, okay, this sounds great. What do I do? Do I just blast CNN in English while I sleep? Do I put a dictionary on tape under my pillow? Can I listen to heavy metal in English?
Please, please do not blast CNN or heavy metal. That would be a complete disaster for your sleep hygiene, and frankly, you'd just wake up exhausted and probably more stressed.
Good to know.
The source gives us a very specific mechanical setup for how to actually do this effectively and safely.
Let's walk through it step by step.
Okay.
It starts with the audio setup. What should the audio actually be?
The recommendation is to play conversational English phrases softly. Not single words, not complex grammar lessons, just common everyday phrases.
Okay.
And ideally, these should be mixed with calming sound frequencies like binaural beats in the theta range, or soft ambient noise like rain or a gentle hum. You want to create a soundscape, not a classroom lecture.
And there are 3 very simple but very important rules the source lays out. Let's break them down because the details really matter here. Rule number 1, volume.
This is critical. Absolutely non-negotiable. The volume must be low. We are talking almost whisper level. Just barely audible.
I assume this is so you don't, actually wake yourself up.
Well, yes, staying asleep is the primary goal. But there's a neurological reason too. You don't want to trigger the conscious mind. If the volume is too loud, your brain shifts out of that receptive theta state back into an alert alpha or beta state to figure out what the noise is.
Your brain asks, is that a threat? Do I need to pay attention to this?
Exactly. It reactivates the filter, the gatekeeper. You want the audio to be just below the threshold of conscious distraction. It should be background texture, not a focal point.
So a good rule of thumb might be, if you have to strain slightly to hear it while you're awake, that's probably the perfect volume for when you're asleep.
That's a great way of thinking about it. Okay, rule number 2, tone. The audio must be calm and slow. No jarring noises, no dramatic voice acting with shouting or crying, No sirens or sudden music changes in the background. Remember, the goal is relaxation.
Because anything sudden would be perceived as a threat.
Any sudden spike in tone or volume will activate the fast brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, and then all learning stops because the brain goes into survival mode. It's not going to worry about verb tenses when it thinks a tiger might be nearby.
Got it. So smooth and steady. Monotonous even might be a good thing here.
Monotonous is perfect.
And rule number 3, which I think is the most interesting one, content. The source specifically says to focus on conversational phrases, not isolated vocabulary. Why is that distinction so important? Why not just listen to a list of the 500 most common English words?
This goes back to how the brain actually processes and uses language. Language is not built word by word like you're laying bricks to build a wall.
Okay.
It is built in chunks, in patterns, in prefabricated units. Linguists call this lexical chunks.
Can you give us an example of a chunk?
Sure. Think about the phrase, how's it going? If you learn that word by word how, then is, then it, then going, you have to consciously assemble that sentence every single time you want to say it. It requires computation, it's slow and clunky.
Right.
But your brain can learn how's it going as a single sound unit, a single melody, a single chunk.
Oh, that makes so much sense. It's like a song lyric. You don't think about the individual notes, you just sing the whole line.
Exactly. Or other chunks, like, what do you mean? That makes sense. I'm not sure. Could you tell me? Okay. These are patterns. When you feed your brain these chunks during sleep, you are training it to recognize the tune of the language.
I love that idea. You're teaching the brain to recognize the tune.
And that creates a crucial shift in your waking life, from memorization to recognition. Recognition is much, much faster and less effortful than recall. Well, you aren't scanning your brain for a list of individual words to assemble a sentence. You are intuitively feeling where the sentence should go next because you recognize the pattern. It just sounds right.
That's what fluency really is, isn't it? When things just sound right and you don't know why.
That's a huge part of it. It's intuitive pattern recognition.
So practically speaking, a listener could find a playlist on YouTube or a streaming service of common English phrases for sleep learning with some soft background music, turn the volume down to about 10%, and just hit play when they get into bed.
That is the actionable step. It's that simple. You are setting up a gentle, passive gym for your brain that runs while you are unconscious.
Okay, so let's fast forward. Let's say a listener tries this. They do it tonight, they do it for a week, they do it for a month. What actually happens? I think it's really important we talk about the tangible results because we promised at the beginning not to overhype this.
Right. We need to be very clear and manage expectations. You are not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly be able to debate philosophy and English if you could barely order a coffee yesterday.
Again, no I know kung fu moments.
No, you won't wake up writing sonnets.
Yeah.
But the improvements, while subtle at first, are specific and very meaningful for language learners on their journey.
Okay, so what are they?
The source highlights a few key changes. The first and most immediate one is faster sentence comprehension.
Which means what exactly?
Which means when a native speaker talks to you, you understand the meaning faster. You aren't getting stuck on individual words, trying to translate each one. Your brain isn't snagging on every syllable because it recognizes the overall pattern of the phrase.
That's huge. It's usually the biggest bottleneck for learners, trying to keep up with the speed of a real conversation. By the time you figure out their first sentence, they're already on their third one.
Exactly. It closes that processing gap. The second improvement is less mental translation.
Ah, the dreaded lag.
The dreaded lag. You know that pause where you hear something in English, you translate it to your native language in your head, you formulate a response in your native language, you translate it back to English, and then finally, you speak.
Oh, I know it well. It makes you feel so slow. It makes you feel stupid, frankly, even when you know the words.
And it creates so much anxiety. Sleep learning helps reduce that lag. Because the phrases were primed in your subconscious, the meaning connects more directly. You hear, how's it going? And you just understand it intuitively. You start to skip the translation step.
You start to think in English, even just for those small phrases.
Precisely. That leads directly to the third point from the source, a more natural speaking rhythm and intonation.
So you start to sound less like a robot.
Yes, because you've been listening to the natural cadence of the language all night. Your brain has internalized the rhythm, where the pitch goes up at the end of a question, where the stress falls on a certain word. You start to mimic that naturally without even trying.
You're absorbing the musicality of it.
You are. And finally, and maybe most importantly, improved listening confidence.
And what does that feel like?
This is the aha moment the source describes. It's the feeling of hearing the beginning of a sentence and thinking to yourself, I know where this is going. It's that anticipation. When you can anticipate what someone is going to say, even just a little bit, your anxiety plummets and your confidence skyrockets.
Because you're not on the back foot anymore. You're not just reacting.
You're participating. You're in the flow of the conversation.
So it sounds like the overall effect is that the words just start to feel less foreign, less alien.
That is the perfect way to describe it. The alien nature of the new language fades away. The sounds become familiar. They start to feel like a part of your own mental landscape.
So to summarize this whole section on results, this method is not a replacement for active study. You still have to do the work.
Absolutely not. It is an accelerator.
An accelerator.
Correct. It creates this background training. Think of it this way. When you do sit down to study during the day, using your slow brain, your prefrontal cortex, it will feel easier. It won't feel like starting from scratch every single time.
The soil has been tilled.
Exactly. The soil has been tilled. The seeds of familiarity have been planted. You just have to do the conscious work of watering them. It makes your active study time more efficient and less stressful because the groundwork is already laid.
I love that. It's not about avoiding the climb. It's about making the uphill battle a little flatter.
A little less steep.
But I want to zoom out for a second before we wrap up. We've been talking a lot about language, but the second source, the Puppet Master Within, implies that this is about something much bigger than just learning English. This is about who is actually in control of the machine.
It is. This is the philosophical core of the deep dive, really. It's about reclaiming cognitive control.
We talked about the fast brain and the dopamine loops, and the source mentions a concept it calls an awareness shift. It compares awareness to turning on the lights in a dark room.
Yes, and I love this quote from the source. It says, the monsters don't disappear, but now you can see them.
And the monsters, in this case, are your habits, your automatic behaviors, your urge to scroll, your urge to distract yourself.
Right. And most of the time, we are operating in the dark. We pick up the phone without even thinking about it. We open an app without a conscious decision. We are on autopilot.
That is the puppet master pulling the strings.
That's it. But the moment you notice the urge, the moment you have the thought, oh, look, there it is, my fast brain wants a dopamine hit right now, you cut the strings. In that moment of awareness, you gain power over it.
You're no longer the puppet, you're the observer of the puppet.
Exactly. But the source also gives a really important warning. Don't fight it directly. Brains hate restriction, it says.
This is a crucial psychological insight, I think. If you tell yourself, I will not look at my phone for the next hour, what's the only thing you could think about?
Looking at your phone, it's the don't think of a pink elephant problem. Restriction creates desire. The more you forbid something, the more your fast brain wants it.
So what's the strategy then? If you can't fight it and you can't restrict it?
You redirect it. The brain hates restriction, but it accepts delay. So instead of saying no phone, you say, I'll check my phone after I finish this one page. Or I'll scroll for 5 minutes after I study these 10 flashcards.
It's negotiation. You're making a deal with a toddler in your head.
It is negotiating. And usually, that slight delay is enough to break the immediate power of the dopamine loop and let the slow brain, the CEO, take back the steering wheel.
And this connects back perfectly to the sleep learning, doesn't it? Because in both cases, managing distractions while you're awake or priming your brain while you sleep, it's all about what you are feeding the subconscious mind.
That is the ultimate connection between these two sources. Your brain is an incredibly powerful machine, but it is morally neutral. It doesn't have an opinion on what it learns. It will simply get good at whatever you repeatedly do.
If you feed it dopamine loops and constant scrolling.
It gets really, really good at being distracted. It rewires itself for a short attention span. It becomes an engine of anxiety.
And if you feed it passive, gentle language patterns while you sleep.
It gets good at English, it gets good at pattern recognition, it gets good at feeling calm and confident with the language.
That is a profound thought. It's not just about learning a skill, it's about consciously training your operating system to be the way you want it to be.
Exactly. The key question the source asks you to consider is this: are you controlling your mind, or is your mind controlling you? By choosing to use your sleep time for learning, you are taking an active role. You are saying, I am going to use this downtime for something positive, for my own growth.
You are taking the reins back from the puppet master. You are claiming those 8 hours for yourself.
You're making a conscious choice about your unconscious time.
That is a powerful place to land. Okay, so let's try to wrap this all up and package it for everyone listening. We've covered a lot of ground from theta waves to dopamine addiction.
We have. Let's recap the main takeaways. First, sleep is not wasted time. It is a unique neurological opportunity, the theta state, where the conscious filter is down and the brain is incredibly receptive to learning patterns.
Second, the reason waking learning is so hard is because you're in a constant battle with your fast brain. It's addicted to the anticipation of dopamine, and it actively fights against the slow, boring process of conscious study.
And third, we can bypass that fight entirely. By using passive listening to conversational phrases at a very low volume during sleep, we can slip those patterns past the filter, reduce stress, and prime the brain for fluency.
It's a strategy that acknowledges our biology rather than trying to fight against it.
It's working with the system, not against it.
So here's my challenge to you, the listener. Tonight, you have to sleep anyway. You're going to spend 7 or 8 hours lying there in bed.
Hopefully 7 or 8. Please get no sleep.
Hopefully. But instead of letting that time just vanish, or worse, falling asleep to the stress of doom-scrolling the news or social media, try this. Try the audio technique. Change your sleep environment.
Find a track of gentle, slow, conversational English phrases. Turn it down to a whisper, and just let it run in the background. See how you feel in the morning. See how you feel in a week.
You literally have nothing to lose but your old habits.
Exactly.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone with one final thought. It's something that has been really sticking with me since reading these sources. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It never really clocks out. It's absorbing the arguments you overhear at the store, the lyrics and the music you play in the background, the tone of voice of the people around you.
It's always recording, always processing.
It's always recording. So the question isn't if your subconscious is learning. It is learning right now from everything around you. The real question is, what are you feeding it?
That's the question.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, improvement doesn't always happen when you're awake. We'll see you next time. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're glad you're here.
It's good to be here.
Today's going to be a little different.
I think so. Yeah.
Usually we're out there, looking at the world. We look at tech giants. We look at these huge historical shifts, the chaos of the markets.
The external world.
Yeah.
The software of civilization, you could say.
Exactly. But today, we're turning that lens around. We are looking inward.
It's the ultimate deep dive, really. I mean, we spend all of this time analyzing the software of the world, but we so rarely stop to look at the operating system that's, running the observer.
The machine that's doing the looking.
We're looking into the machinery of the mind itself.
Right. And before we really get into the data, and believe me, we have a massive stack of research here, I just want to set the mood a little.
Okay.
I want to slow things down. And I want to ask you, our listener, a question. And I don't want you to just answer it quickly and, move on. I really want you to just sit with it for a second.
Let it land.
Let it land. How often do you feel like you are in a fight with yourself?
That's a heavy question to start with. It's visceral.
It is heavy, but it's the reality for so many of us, isn't it? I mean, just think about the texture of a typical day.
The moment you wake up.
You wake up, you have a plan, you have good intentions, you say, today I'm going to crush that project, or today I'm finally going to start learning that language.
Or even something simpler, like, today I'm just going to be present with my family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then something happens. Or, maybe more accurately, something doesn't happen.
The friction sets in. The resistance.
That's the word. The resistance. You find yourself scrolling through social media when you explicitly plan to be working.
Or just staring at a blank page. Paralyzed. You can't type a single word.
Or you find yourself eating the thing you told yourself just this morning you wouldn't eat. And the narrative that we tell ourselves in the aftermath, it's always the same, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's a very familiar script.
We say, I'm lazy, or I just have no discipline, or my personal favorite, why can't I just make myself do this one simple thing?
We treat the mind like an enemy combatant.
Yes.
And we treat our own psychology like this unruly dog that needs to be leashed or a territory that needs to be conquered. We're constantly at war with our own impulses.
We're constantly trying to wrestle the steering wheel away from, well, from who?
Yeah.
That's the real question, isn't it?
It is.
And that is the whole premise of the research we're getting into today. What if that entire battle is an illusion? What if the brain isn't lazy? What if it's not broken? What if it is simply running a hidden operating system, a code that we just haven't learned how to read yet.
That is the absolute core of what we're unpacking. We're calling this deep dive the hidden operator.
The hidden operator. I like that.
And we've pulled together some incredibly dense, just fascinating sources to build this picture. We have research on what's called cognitive reframing, and we're looking specifically at a concept called the lunar cycles of action.
Lunar cycles.
Okay. We have a breakdown of the algorithmic subconscious, which, I mean, it completely changes how we look at dreams. It's fascinating.
Really?
And then we have the dual brain system, and even some, I'd say, controversial but very compelling material on something called theta wave learning.
Wow. Okay, so the mission today is pretty clear then.
I think so.
We're going to stop fighting the brain. We're going to stop yelling at the machine, and we're going to, for the first time, try to understand the user manual.
Because if you can read the code, you can start to change the output.
You can guide it.
Precisely. The goal is to move from fighting your brain to guiding it, to understand that the things we call flaws, procrastination, distraction, fear, they aren't bugs.
They're features.
They're features. They're functions of a system that is trying to do something very specific. And usually, it's trying to keep you safe.
That is a huge, huge shift in perspective. So
Yeah.
take a breath.
Yeah.
Get comfortable. We're not here to hype you up. We're not here to give you 5 hacks to productivity. We're here to slow you down and let you see the machinery clearly for the very first time.
You are safe. Your mind is safe. You are allowed to pause.
Okay, let's get into this. We're going to structure this chronologically, starting with the waking hours.
Makes sense.
The sun is up. The day has begun. And we immediately run into the thing that plagues, I think, all of us. The waking trap.
The distraction.
The distraction. I think we have to talk about the puppet master.
The puppet master. It's a very vivid image. It feels a little ominous.
It does, but it feels accurate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it really feels like strings are being pulled. You sit down to work, and 5 minutes later, you find yourself on your phone.
And you didn't decide to do it.
No. There was no board meeting with yourself where you voted to open Instagram.
Right.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Who is pulling those strings?
Well, this is where we have to get a little technical. The source that talks about this, the puppet master within, its argument is that the issue is we think we have one brain.
One brain.
We say, I think, or I decided, but effectively, biologically, we have two.
2 brains.
Two very distinct systems, and they're running in parallel. You have what they call the fast brain, and you have the slow brain.
Fast and slow.
Now, the slow brain, that's who you think you are. It's the voice in your head. It resides largely in your prefrontal cortex.
Okay.
It's the planner. It's the executive. It's the one that says, I want to learn Spanish, or, I want to finish this quarterly report because it'll be good for my career. It thinks logically. It projects into the future. It understands abstract concepts.
Right. So that's the me that makes the to-do list at 8 in the morning. That's the responsible adult in the room.
That's the one. Exactly. But then there's the fast brain.
The puppet master.
This is your limbic system, your basal ganglia, your amygdala. These are ancient structures. They've been around for millions of years longer than that fancy prefrontal cortex.
And the fast brain. It doesn't care about my quarterly report.
It could not care less about your 5-year plan. It doesn't care about your report. It doesn't understand the future.
So what does it care about?
It cares about right now, this very second. It reacts instantly. And its primary job, evolutionarily speaking, is really twofold. Keep you alive and conserve energy.
Okay, conserve energy. I want to drill down on that because I think that is the missing piece for so many people.
It's huge.
I usually think of distraction as like an indulgence, a weakness. But you're saying it's actually an energy strategy.
Absolutely. Think about the biology. Your brain is an energy hog.
Right.
It consumes something like 20% of your body's total metabolic energy, even though it's a tiny percentage of your weight. And within the brain, that prefrontal cortex, your slow brain, is the most expensive room in the house to heat.
It's a gas guzzler.
It is a total gas guzzler. Heavy thinking, planning, resisting impulses, all of that stuff burns glucose like crazy.
Okay, so when I sit down to write a difficult document or to study, my body sees that as a high-cost activity.
Exactly. And the fast brain, the puppet master, it's always monitoring the fuel gauge.
Oh.
It sees you about to engage in deep work, and it just says, whoa, hold on. That's expensive. We might need those calories later to run from a tiger or find food. It's still running that old software.
So it diverts me. It pulls the strings.
It diverts you to a low-cost, high-reward activity.
Like scrolling.
Scrolling, watching a video. These things are cognitively cheap. They require almost no glucose, and they provide this little hit of stimulation.
So I'm not being lazy in a moral sense.
No.
I'm being efficient in a biological sense.
You're optimizing for calorie conservation in a world where calories are no longer scarce.
I have to say, that's actually really relieving to hear. It's a hardware mismatch. Our ancient hardware is in this modern software world.
Perfectly put.
But let's talk about that reward part, the dopamine loop. Because that's the carrot the fast brain uses to lure us away, isn't it?
It is.
And I think this is one of the most misunderstood concepts in all of pop psychology. Everyone talks about dopamine like it's a happy pill. Like, ooh, I gotta, like on my photo, I gotta hit a dopamine, I feel happy.
Right, the dopamine hit. It's the common misconception. But the research here is so specific, and it really changes how you view addiction to our screens.
So what is it?
Dopamine is not happiness. Dopamine is anticipation.
Wait, okay, let's drill into that. Anticipation. So it's not the feeling of getting the good thing.
No, it is the feeling of seeking the good thing. Think about it. When you're scrolling through a feed, TikTok, Instagram, whatever your poison is, are you actually happy? Are you filled with deep joy and contentment?
No, I'm usually zoned out. Sometimes I'm even a little bit annoyed or bored, but my thumb just keeps moving.
Exactly. If dopamine were happiness, you would stop once you found a funny video. You'd say, yeah, that was nice, and then you'd put the phone down. But you don't.
You keep scrolling.
You keep scrolling. Why? Because dopamine is a search function. It's designed to keep you looking. It whispers, maybe the next thing will be better.
Maybe the next video is the really funny one.
Maybe the next email is the life-changing news. It's just maybe.
It's the prediction error mechanism, right? That's the technical term.
Precisely. It's the engine of seeking. It's what was designed to keep an animal looking for berries. Maybe the next bush has the sweet ones. Maybe over the next hill there's water.
But in the modern world, it keeps you looking for digital stimulation.
It's the notification itch. That little itch isn't about the content of the notification, it's about the possibility of the content.
That explains so much. It explains why you can scroll for an hour, find absolutely nothing interesting, and still feel the urge to keep going.
The brain is just stuck in a loop of maybe. It's chasing a ghost.
And because the fast brain is running the show to save energy, you're reacting to that whisper before the slow brain even wakes up to stop you.
The fast brain is simply faster. It has your thumb moving before your prefrontal cortex can even say, hey, wait a minute, we have a deadline.
So, how do we break the loop? I mean, if this is a biological hardwire, if this is millions of years of evolution, are we just doomed to be puppets? Are we just passengers in a car driven by this calorie-hoarding toddler?
We are not doomed. But we do have to change our tactics.
Okay.
You cannot fight the fast brain with brute force. That's the mistake everyone makes. They try to use willpower, they grit their teeth and say, I will not look at my phone.
But willpower comes from the slow brain, right? The expensive one.
Exactly. Willpower is an expensive resource. If you try to outmuscle the fast brain all day long, you will burn out your glucose, and eventually the fast brain will win. It is tireless.
So what's the alternative to brute force?
The source calls it the awareness shift, and it uses this beautiful analogy.
Okay.
Awareness is like turning on the lights in a dark room.
I love that image.
Think about it. When you turn on the lights, the monsters, the urges, the distractions, the craving, they don't just disappear, they're still there. But now you can see them.
You can see the string being pulled.
Yes. So instead of mindlessly unlocking your phone, you have that split second where you go, oh, look at that. There is an urge to check my email right now.
You step out of the stream.
You observe the river instead of drowning in it. You objectify the urge. There is a sensation of craving in my chest. By just naming it, you're engaging the slow brain, but without fighting. You're just observing.
And once you have that moment of observation, once you've bought yourself that split second,
you can use what the text calls the control trick.
The control trick, okay.
This is so crucial because brains hate restriction. They hate being told no. If you tell a toddler, no, you can't have that, they just want it more.
The fast brain is basically a toddler.
It's a toddler. So if you say, I will not use my phone for the next hour, the brain panics. It feels deprived, it feels trapped, it screams, but I need to know.
So we shouldn't say no.
No. We should say later.
Later.
Brains accept delay so much better than they accept denial. So the rephrase is, I see this urge. I'm not saying no. I will use the phone after I finish this one paragraph.
That is so subtle, but I can immediately see why that would work. You're not fighting the urge, you're just You're rescheduling it.
You're negotiating with the fast brain. You're giving it a promise of the reward, just not right this second. It lowers the resistance. It turns the volume down on the internal fight.
It satisfies that seeking drive by saying, the berries are coming, just wait 10 minutes.
Exactly. And that simple act puts the slow brain, the planner, back in the driver's seat. It allows you to steer again.
So the big takeaway here for the waking hours is, you're not lazy and you're not broken.
Not at all.
You're just letting a very old, very efficient search function run wild to save energy. And the solution is to just turn on the lights.
Turn on the lights and ask yourself the question.
Right. The question that hangs over all of this.
Are you controlling your mind? Or is your mind controlling you?
Okay. So we've turned on the lights. We've managed to put the phone down using that later technique. We've negotiated the delay. But now we face the next hurdle.
The work itself.
The blank screen,
Yeah.
the empty document, the unwritten email, the mountain.
And this is where the real heaviness sets in for a lot of people, I think. We call it procrastination.
But it feels heavier than that, doesn't it? It feels like a character flaw.
It does.
We beat ourselves up. Why can't I just start? What is wrong with me?
And that self-talk, I am lazy, I am broken, that's actually the fuel for the fire. It makes the paralysis so much worse.
The source we have on this, Lunar Cycles of Cognitive Reframing, it takes a completely different angle. It suggests our entire definition of procrastination is just wrong.
It's fundamentally wrong. We think of procrastination as a lack of effort, as laziness. But this framework, and a lot of modern psychology is starting to back this up, argues that procrastination is actually protection.
Protection. That sounds very counterintuitive. How is avoiding my work protecting me? If I don't do the work, I might get fired. That's not safe.
Logically, no. In the long term, you're right. But your fast brain doesn't know about firing. It doesn't understand long term. It knows about stress.
Okay.
Think about what the work represents to your subconscious. It represents judgment. It represents the possibility of failure. It represents the unknown.
What if I do it wrong? What if it's not good enough? What if I can't figure it out?
Exactly. So the brain sees the task not as an opportunity for growth, but as a threat. It sees a tiger hiding in the bushes.
And the brain's first job is always safety.
Always. If a task feels threatening to your ego or your sense of competence, the brain hits the brakes. Hard. It triggers a freeze response.
So it says, whoa, that looks dangerous. Let's do something safe instead.
Let's clean the kitchen, let's reorganize the bookshelves, let's do anything that feels productive but has zero risk of failure.
That is a massive reframe. So the avoidance isn't a sign that I don't want to do the work.
It's a signal.
It's a signal that I'm afraid.
Avoidance is a signal. It's the brain sending up a flare that says, I need safety before I can perform. You can't perform at a high level when you're in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Your creativity just shuts down when you're scared.
So this source breaks down a solution it calls the lunar cycles, which I think is a really a poetic way of looking at it.
It is, yeah.
It implies phases. It implies you don't just snap your fingers and go from 0 to 100.
Right. You don't go from a dead stop to full speed. There's a sequence. And if you skip a step in the sequence, you stall out. You have to wax before you can be full.
Let's walk through these phases because I think listeners are probably sitting there thinking, okay, I get it. I'm scared. Now what?
The first phase is interesting. It's called relaxation acceptance.
Okay.
This is the phase where you stop fighting the resistance. Usually when we can't work, we get tense, right? We clench our jaw, we stare at the screen and get angry at ourselves.
Yeah.
This phase says, stop. Physically stop.
So it starts with the body, not the mind.
It has to. You have to send a signal to the amygdala, the fear center, that there is no tiger. So you physically drop your shoulders, you unclench your hands, you take a deep breath.
And then what?
And then you look at the resistance and you say the affirmation from the source text. You are not lazy, you are protecting yourself.
That feels like forgiveness.
It is. It completely changes the internal chemistry. Instead of guilt, which increases stress, you introduce compassion, which lowers stress. It's just saying, okay, I see that I'm stressed, I see that I'm avoiding this, and that's okay.
And then comes this logic chain that I thought was so powerful. Safety creates calm. Calm creates clarity. Clarity creates action.
That's the golden chain. You cannot have action without clarity. You can't have clarity without calm. And you cannot have calm without first feeling safe.
And most of us try to skip straight to action while we're still panicking.
It never works. It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. You just burn yourself out.
So we have to build that foundation first.
Yeah.
You have to tell the brain, you are safe.
There is nothing chasing you. That's another line from the fear release loop in the text.
There is nothing chasing you. Mistakes are safe.
You have to consciously release the pressure. You have to lower the stakes of the task in your mind.
It sounds almost like a mini therapy session for the moment of work.
In a way it is. It's what the source calls identity reprogramming. That's the next phase.
Shifting from I am a procrastinator
To I am a thinker who is preparing.
I am a preparer. I really like that shift. It validates the pause.
It does.
It says that the pause isn't failure. The pause is part of the process.
Exactly. A procrastinator is hiding. A preparer is gathering resources. If you tell yourself you're just gathering, the guilt vanishes.
And once you've established that safety, once the fear has finally left the room, then what?
Then, and only then, do you get to the final phase, the action wiring loop.
Okay, and what does that look like? Because eventually, we do have to type the words on the page.
It looks like small steps, and I mean micro steps. The mantra is, starting is easy, small steps feel good.
So when the brain feels safe, it doesn't mind taking a tiny step.
Yeah.
It's the giant leap that scares it.
Right, so you don't say, I'm gonna write the whole book today. You say, I'm just gonna open the document and write one sentence.
You're guiding the brain into realizing that the work isn't a tiger waiting to eat it.
It's just a task. And once you take that first safe, small step, momentum becomes natural. Flow feels natural. You aren't forcing it anymore. You're just gliding.
It's the difference between pushing a boulder up a steep hill and just letting it roll down the other side.
Exactly. But you have to get to the top of the hill first. And the top of that hill is safety.
This helps me understand why I get so stuck sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push the boulder while I'm terrified it's going to roll back and crush me.
You're trying to work while your body is screaming danger.
So if you're listening to this and you're stuck on a project, the advice is to stop. Stop trying to force the work. Stop yelling at yourself.
Take a minute. Tell your brain, we are safe. We are just preparing. There is no danger here.
And remember that mantra from the source. It's a powerful whisper to yourself.
Pause is not failure. Pause is preparation.
Okay, we've navigated the day. We've dealt with the fast brain's distraction. We've reframed the procrastination barrier. The work is done. But now the sun goes down.
The day ends. We close our eyes.
And we assume the machine turns off. We assume we're logging out for the night.
But it doesn't, does it? The puppet master doesn't sleep.
No.
In fact, when the conscious mind goes offline, that hidden operator shifts into a completely different mode, a diagnostic mode.
This brings us to the deep dive section of our deep dive.
The deep dive within the deep dive.
We're looking at the algorithmic subconscious. And specifically, we're talking about dreams. Now, I have to stop you here.
Okay.
Because I have to admit, when I hear about dream interpretation, my skepticism radar just goes off. I roll my eyes a little bit.
I get it.
I think of fortune tellers and crystal balls and horoscopes. Oh, you dreamt of a bluebird. That means you'll find money tomorrow. You know.
That is the common reaction. And it's a healthy reaction because most of what's out there is nonsense. We've dismissed dreams as either mysticism or, on the other end, just random firing of neurons, just noise in the system.
But this source takes a really hard turn away from that. It uses words like analytics and data and internal reports. It sounds more like IT than magic.
That's the frame. It frames dreams as internal reports.
Okay, unpack that.
Think about it this way. During the day, your logical brain, that slow brain, the prefrontal cortex, it's a filter. It ignores things, it suppresses emotions, it pushes down stress so you can function.
Right. If your boss yells at you, you don't scream back. You suppress it. You say, I'm fine.
You hold it all together. You compartmentalize. But that emotional energy, it doesn't just disappear. Physics tells us energy doesn't disappear. It just changes form.
So where does it go?
When you sleep, that logic filter shuts down. The CEO goes home for the night, but the data processing center is still open. And the brain has to process all of that emotional residue from the day.
So the dream is the brain processing that leftover data.
Yes. But because the logical center is offline, the brain doesn't speak in words or spreadsheets. It speaks in symbols, it speaks in images. But the source argues that these aren't random images. They are precise metaphors for your current psychological state.
So it's not, does this bluebird mean I'll find money?
No.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that. It's about pattern recognition. And humans are bad at this because we forget our dreams so quickly.
Right.
But if you crack them, if you use this algorithmic approach, clear patterns start to emerge.
The source mentions some really specific examples of these patterns. Let's look at those. The classic one, dreams of being chased.
Right.
I've had this a million times.
Yeah.
You're running from a monster or a bad guy, and your legs feel like they're stuck in mud.
A classic example. If you track the data, you might find a correlation. Every time you feel overwhelmed by pressure at work, or you feel like you're falling behind on a deadline, you have the chase dream.
So the dream is a data point.
It's the brain screaming, I feel hunted, I feel like something is chasing me.
It's visualizing the feeling of pressure.
Exactly. Or another one, the falling dream.
Oh, I hate that one, just dropping into the void.
It's often correlated with feelings of self-doubt or a loss of control in your waking life. A situation where you feel like the ground isn't stable beneath you, maybe your relationship is rocky or your job is unstable. The brain translates instability into the physical sensation of falling.
So the source says the warning system often predicts psychological sabotage before it happens in real life. That is a fascinating idea.
It's the early warning radar. Your subconscious knows you're stressed long before your conscious mind is willing to admit it.
Your conscious mind is busy saying, I'm fine, everything's fine.
But your subconscious knows the truth. So you might start having these anxiety dreams 3 days before you actually snap at your boss or burn out on a project.
That's incredible. So the dream is basically saying, system overload imminent. Use a dashboard light on your car.
It's the check engine light. And you wouldn't ignore a check engine light just because you don't know exactly how the engine works, would you?
No. So the application here is to shift from interpretation to analytics. Instead of asking, what does this symbol mean in some mystical dream dictionary?
We ask, what is my mind warning me about?
Okay.
What is the emotion in the dream? That's the key question. Did I feel terror? Did I feel shame? Did I feel lost? And then you ask, where do I feel that same emotion in my waking life?
And if you can make that connection,
You solve the puzzle. And the source says something really hopeful here. It says if you identify the trigger, if you realize, oh, I'm dreaming about being chased because I'm terrified of that big presentation next Tuesday, the recurring dream often stops.
really, just like that.
Because the message has been delivered. The brain doesn't need to keep hitting the alarm button if you've acknowledged the fire.
It calls it a protective warning. So it's trying to protect you by making you aware. Once you're aware, the protection isn't needed anymore, at least not in that form.
It moves from a subconscious scream to a conscious thought. I am worried about the presentation. That's manageable. Being chased by a faceless monster is not.
It really reinforces this whole idea that the brain is on your side. It's not trying to scare you for fun.
It's trying to tell you something that you are refusing to hear during the day.
It's the only way it knows how to communicate when you're not listening.
Yeah.
So tonight, when we close our eyes, we're not just logging off.
We're entering the analytics lab.
And the brain will be analyzing you, learning you, protecting you. And our job is just to pay attention to the report in the morning.
Your dreams already know the truth. You just have to decode them.
Yeah, so we've looked at the brain's output during sleep, the dreams, the reports. But there's another side to this coin.
There is.
If the brain is open, if that filter is down, can we use that time for input?
This is the holy grail, isn't it? Learning while you sleep.
It sounds like science fiction. And honestly, it sounds a little bit like a scam.
I know.
It sounds like one of those infomercials from the 90s. Learn French in 30 days while you nap.
I have to be skeptical here. Can you really learn anything while you're unconscious? You should be skeptical. Most of the claims out there are scams. You are not going to listen to a tape on quantum physics and wake up with a PhD. That's just not how it works.
Okay, good.
But we have a source here, the subconscious path, that breaks down the actual neuroscience of this. And it's not about magic. It's about brainwaves.
Okay, walk me through the science. Because if it's not magic, what is it?
It's all about the state of the gatekeepers, specifically theta waves.
Theta waves. Break that down for us.
So right now, as we're talking, we're both in a beta brainwave state. We're alert, your critical thinking is high. If I tell you a new complex fact, your brain analyzes it, it doubts it, it checks it against what you already know.
There's a filter, a bouncer at the door of the club.
Exactly. The bouncer is checking IDs. But as you drift off to sleep, you pass through different states. You go from beta to alpha, which is relaxed, and then you go into theta.
Okay.
Theta is this deep relaxation, the twilight zone between being awake and being asleep. This is often where hypnotherapy operates.
What happens to the bouncer, the gatekeeper in theta?
In theta, the bouncer takes a smoke break, the filter weakens, the subconscious becomes incredibly receptive to suggestion, and importantly to pattern.
So the door is left open.
The door is ajar. And this source suggests that if you provide the right kind of input during this window, specifically that transition period before you fall into deep delta sleep, it goes straight in without that critical resistance.
The case study here is language learning.
Right.
Specifically English, but I guess the principle applies to any language.
Right, and it's crucial to manage expectations here. The source is not saying you wake up fluent.
Okay.
You don't wake up knowing Kung Fu like Neo in The Matrix.
Darn. I was really hoping for Kung Fu.
I know, me too. But what actually happens is potentially more valuable for long-term learning. It creates familiarity.
Recognition versus memorization.
Yes. If you listen to conversational phrases while you're in that theta state, your brain just registers the pattern. It registers the rhythm, the melody of the language.
And then what?
Later, when you actually sit down to study that material while you're awake, your brain goes, wait a minute, I know this, I've heard this before.
It lowers the resistance to learning.
It's called priming. It removes the friction of newness. Learning feels easier because the foundation was poured while you were asleep.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like when you hear a song playing in the background at a store, and then later you hear it on the radio and you can kind of hum along, even though you never consciously sat down to memorize it.
It's exactly like that, passive absorption. It's how children learn, really. They don't study grammar books, they just absorb the patterns happening all around them.
But there is a methodology here, right? You can't just blast a textbook at your face while you sleep. The source has 3 specific rules.
Very specific. Rule 1 is about volume. It must be at a whisper level.
A whisper.
If it's too loud, you'll either wake up or your brain will stay in a higher alert state to monitor the noise. It needs to be just background texture, barely audible.
Okay. And rule 2 is about the content itself.
The content must be calm and slow. Why? Because stress blocks memory. This is a huge point the source makes. We have this idea that learning has to be hard. We think we have to furrow our brows and strain.
Suffer for it.
But the brain actually encodes memory best when it is relaxed. So the audio has to be soothing. If the voice is shouting or aggressive, the brain just raises the shields.
And rule 3, conversational phrases, not just isolated words. Why phrases?
Because language is pattern recognition. How's it going is a single pattern, a chunk. If you just learn the individual words how, is, and going, you have to do the math in your head to put them together every time. The brain loves chunks. It loves melody.
So you're feeding the brain the melody of the language.
And you're doing it when the critic is asleep.
Yep.
When that little voice that says, I'm bad at languages or this is too hard, is silenced for the night.
That easy trap you mentioned is so interesting. We are so suspicious of things that feel easy.
We are.
Really, we're not suffering, we're not growing.
It's a cultural myth. It's the Puritan work ethic applied to neurology. And look, struggle is sometimes necessary, but unnecessary struggle is just. It's inefficiency. If you can let your subconscious do the heavy lifting of pattern recognition, why wouldn't you?
It's working smarter, not harder.
It's using the machine for what it was designed to do. The brain is a pattern matching machine. You just have to give it the data and then get out of the way.
So we can program the machine, we can input confidence, we can input a language, we can input a sense of safety.
If you control the input, you influence the output.
Improvement doesn't always happen when you're awake.
We have covered a lot of ground today. A lot.
We really have. We started with the daily battle against the fast brain, the distraction, the dopamine loop, the biology of energy conservation.
Then we moved to the emotional reframing of procrastination, seeing it as a need for safety, not a sign of laziness.
We dove into the analytics of our dreams, using them as these nightly diagnostic reports from the subconscious.
And finally, we looked at how to gently program the mind while we sleep using theta waves.
It's a full journey through that hidden operating system, from the moment you wake up to the deepest part of the night.
It is.
And if there's one common thread here, one thing that ties the waking struggle to the sleeping mind, what is it? Because it really feels like there's a unified theory here.
I think the thread is safety and awareness.
Say more about that.
In every single section we discussed, the root problem was that the brain felt either threatened or blind.
Okay.
The fast brain distracts you because it's searching for safe, easy rewards and trying to save energy from a perceived threat of difficult work.
And procrastination happens because the brain fears the threat of failure and judgment.
And the bad dreams happen because the brain is processing unresolved threats from your waking life.
And the solution in every case was to provide safety.
Exactly. To turn on the light of awareness and say, I see you. To tell the procrastinating mind, you are safe, nothing is chasing you. to feed the sleeping mind calm, safe, predictable patterns.
When the brain feels safe, it performs. When it feels threatened, it protects.
That is the fundamental switch. Stop trying to override the protection mechanisms. Stop trying to fight the biology. Start proving to your own mind that the protection isn't needed right now.
You stop fighting the guard dog, and you start making friends with it.
And then the guard dog walks with you. It protects you on the journey rather than biting your leg to keep you from ever leaving the house.
I love that image.
Yeah.
So, to our listener, your brain is not your enemy.
Not at all.
It is a magnificent, complex, maybe slightly overprotective machine that works for you. It's waiting for your instructions.
But it needs those instructions to be kind, and it needs them to be clear.
Try one of these shifts tonight. Just one. Maybe it's that whisper to yourself before you start work. Pause is preparation.
Maybe it's the analysis of a dream. Not looking for symbols, but looking for the emotion. Maybe it's just playing something soft and new while you drift off to sleep.
Whatever it is, do it with the knowledge that you are in the driver's seat. You just have to learn how to touch the controls gently.
Action is safe. Progress is safe. You are safe to begin.